Hi Scorpio, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of February. We are now in a whole different era in the real age of Aquarius. At the beginning of 2020, both Saturn and Pluto met up at the world axis at 22 degrees of the sign of Capricorn, and this brought down many structures in our lives. For you, this story played out in your house of local community and thoughts and ideas, and this was an unforgettable tale for all of us. At the end of 2020, both Saturn and Jupiter exited the sign of Capricorn and met up on the winter solstice at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius, and this ushered in a whole new era for all of us. A new beginning around connection and community and humanitarianism and inventiveness and ingenuity and chaos. And for you, this new beginning is in your house of home and emotional foundation. How do you get your needs met in a broken world? How do you innovate and reinvent yourself in this time? How do you seek solace in this difficult time? There's so much inventiveness and so many beginnings that face us as we segue into this age of Aquarius. So at the end of January, on January 30th, Mercury stationed retrograde at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius. And this gives you a preview of what the next couple of years are going to be like in the age of Aquarius, because there are 30 degrees to a sign. 0 is the first and 29 is the final, and Mercury gets to almost the entire sign of Aquarius minus 3 degrees, and this gets us to February of 2023, and Saturn is going to be transiting in Aquarius until March 7th of 2023. So pay attention to the messages that are coming up and the stories that have come up since the beginning of the year, because Mercury has been transiting in Aquarius since January 8th. On the 1st of February, Venus enters the sign of Aquarius, where it'll be transiting until February 25th. This is transiting in your house of home. It's an excellent time for fixing up your house and being creative. If you have your own business, this is an excellent time in general for innovating new beginnings in the next couple of years in your business and for being creative. On that date, the Sun in Aquarius squares Mars in Taurus, and that can be a bit challenging and combative. Mars is now transiting in the sign of Taurus in your house of relationships, where it'll be until March 3rd. Excellent energy for partnering with others, but it can be a little bit challenging, but it's excellent to use your energy in that focus. On the 6th of February, Venus meets up with Saturn in the sky, and that can be restrictive and challenging around partnerships. If you're working on a project at home or in your own business, excellent for focusing on hard work, but better to do it on your own. Later in the day, Venus is going to sextile Chiron, the wounded healer, and that can be helpful, but my feeling is that it's challenging around relationships that day, because later that day, Venus is going to square Uranus, which can be very unpredictable. It could be positive, but it can also be challenging, and it's just up and down and unpredictable. So I think lay low and focus on your projects at home and in your business. On the 9th of February, Saturn makes a helpful aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is transiting in your house of regeneration and rebirth and healing the wounds. Use that energy that date to focus on what you wish to heal and structure in your life. On the 11th of February, we have a really, really inspiring new moon that takes place at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 17 minutes of Aquarius. This falls in your house of home and security. How do you get your needs met? How do you invent a new beginning for yourself? And on that date, both Venus and Jupiter meet up at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And those are the two benefics of the zodiac. And this is really creative and beautiful and romantic energy. So really target that date. Saturn and Jupiter are still conjunct. They're starting to separate, but Saturn is the structure and Jupiter is the vision. What structure do you want to vision in your own home, emotional life, and in your home and family? On the 12th of February or the 13th, depending on where you live, Venus meets up with Mercury, and that's really creative and loving energy. And they meet up at 9:48 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 12th and at 2:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 13th. And that is really creative and loving energy. On Valentine's Day, Mercury meets up with Jupiter, the grand benefic. And this is really expansive. How do you expand your home now and other ways that you can get your needs met? It's kind of like the moon, you know, the fourth house represents your security. And this is a new time to innovate new ways to get your needs met. On the 17th of February, that is more challenging energy because Saturn is going to square Uranus in the sky. And this is one of 3 squares that takes place. And Saturn and Uranus are both the rulers of Aquarius. Saturn rules Aquarius in ancient astrology, and Uranus rules Aquarius in modern astrology. Saturn is limitations, and Uranus is chaos and freedom. The two do not merge well. And the last time they squared one another was in June of 1999 through May of 2000. That is not an easy influence, but they represent growing pains that we all will be experiencing as we acclimate to this whole new era and new energy in Aquarius. On the 18th of February, the Sun enters Pisces, where it'll be transiting until March 20th in your house of romance and creativity. And the sun shines wherever it's transiting. Good for your love life, good for feeling creative and having a little bit of joy in this challenging time. On the 20th of February, Mercury stations direct at 11 degrees and 1 minute of Aquarius, and this helps us all to move ahead and move forward. On the 25th of February, Venus enters the sign of Pisces, where it's exalted, and that's a fellow water sign. Very loving, very romantic. If you're single, it's an excellent time for romance in the next few weeks. If you're in a relationship, it's very good for love. It's very good for your creativity. It's a nice energy. On the 26th of February, Jupiter forms a trine to the North Node in Gemini. And this is an excellent time for networking, for fated opportunities, and for connection. On the 27th of February, we have a full moon that takes place at 8 degrees and 57 minutes of Virgo. And this falls in your house of friends and groups. And this sets off where the lunar eclipse took place on November 30th at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of Gemini. This will be emotional full moon because it's just a degree off from the world axis and it's setting off the lunar eclipse. Pay attention to the stories. There will be a culmination. Maybe there's issues with friends or emotional issues with friendships, but for the majority of February, we have some really nice energy and nice influences. So I wish you a lot of luck in this new era. Thank you.